Hello, my name is Tyler Keefe, and this is my reflection video for EdTech 592. First, I'd like to take a second to introduce myself. I am a 5th grade teacher, and this is the end of my 5th year teaching at Centennial Elementary in Nampa, Idaho. I've loved every step of the way, and I couldn't ask for a better school to be at. A couple of years ago, I decided to start my master's program through Boise State, and it's been a fun ride, and I've learned a lot throughout the process, which is the reason of this video. I'm going to show you guys about 4 classes and the projects that I've done in those classes and why they mean the most to me and how I currently do use them in my classroom.
I would first like to start by showing my EdTech start page and a couple of links on the side here, just some of the links for various classes I've taken, but I'm going to note my 592 e-portfolio. Here is my page, and got the introduction of my e-portfolio, my contact info, and then you click over here, you got the AECT standards with my links to my various different artifacts and which ones I feel go with those. Links to my rationale paper along with my introduction, my rationale for each one of the standards along with the conclusion, and then my reflection video as soon as that is posted. Going back to my start page, I'd like to first talk about my time during EdTech 502. This class was titled The Internet for Educators, and I really feel that it is one of the most important classes that I took while at Boise State. It's really the foundation of the EdTech program, as we made a lot of web pages in this, but it was really helpful because of the skills learned in this class were used in multiple other classes. As you can see here, my start page for 502 is very simple. And it's funny as I click through these how simple the pages started, but then when I got to the end, how more complex and more engaging or visually engaging they are. The first project we did was a simple netiquette thing, which was explaining proper etiquette for the internet, and it was just to get us used to using HTML and CSS. This is something I did use to send out to my staff just as a fun little thing to start out the year, and I got some really good positive feedback on it. Next thing was an accessibility page. Again, this is just something to get used to using Dreamweaver and HTML. Nothing too flashy or exciting here, but it was a fun little project to do. And again, it is something that I used for showing the other teachers at my school. Then we started doing a copyright scavenger hunt, and as you can see here, I did include a video from YouTube. It's a link that our professor had about the copyright laws, and this is something that's fun for the kids to do. Then I do have them use because a lot of them want to copy their work from the internet, and they actually have to define what a copyright is, what's plagiarism, 3 examples, and so on. When the kids are done, they're able to use the answer key here to check their answers when they are finished. It is a fun little project for them. Nothing too major, but the kids do enjoy it. Next, I created the concept map for the rock cycle, and the rock cycle is a huge 5th grade standard here in Idaho for science, and this is nice because it gives the students the vocabulary they need for the rock cycle. Also, it gives a link to definitions, videos, and then an assignment for them to print off. Next thing we did was a jigsaw internet activity for the periodic table of elements. There are different groups here, and the kids are to write a definition of their topic. So group 1 would write a definition for the metals. What is important? Using these websites, they would find why it's important, and then 3 examples using these sites of metals, semi-metals, or non-metals. And again, this is linked to the Idaho standards. It is one of them that they need to know as a 5th grader. We had to create a mobile activity to be used on cell phones, iPods, iPads, all those things, and I did mine on plant cells. And again, it's like the one before, using a mobile dictionary. Students go to YouTube, view some videos on plant cells, and have to write a summary. The next thing we had to do was create the start page right here, which, as you can see, it is very simple, but it works, and I actually kind of like it. I'm not a big flashy type guy, so it's kind of nice for me. One of the last few things we had to make was a virtual field trip, and again, sticking with my science theme, and you'll notice with a lot of the stuff I stuck to science. It's one of my favorite things to do. I did a web quest on the volcanoes of Washington State, um, embedding a Google map here to where they're actually able to zoom in to see where these volcanoes are in the state of Washington, and then go into each of them, watching videos on Mount Adams, Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, Mount and Mount St. Helens. As you notice here, there are some activities for the kids to do and some links to different websites for them to complete these activities on. And this is something that the kids really enjoy doing, especially seeing a newscast from CBS News 1980. The kids are honestly, some of them, amazed that there was color TV back then. And the last thing, as let me get back to my page, we had to create a web quest. And this one here, we like to have a state fair in the fifth grade. And this is just a way to guide them through it, guide the other teachers through it, as I have a teacher lesson plan available for them and the introduction for the students as they go through it. It has the tasks completed for them that they are going to do, the process, they're going to create an outline. They have some websites for them to use. They're going to create a PowerPoint using this template I provided them, poster, state fair, and then they'll actually evaluate themselves. Give themselves points on how they did, the participation, their pictures, and so on. And then a conclusion, and just explaining to them. Then lastly, the teacher page, just which is the purpose, the rationale, learning descriptions, all that stuff that we needed for the class. And so EdTech 502 was very important again because it did create the foundation for the rest of the career at Boise State. It gave me the tools to use to create the web pages nice and easy. And it's something that I can use in my work every day when I need to make a web page for not even just a web page, just editing my teacher web page at my school. I'm able to use HTML. I'm able to help other teachers with these things. So it's one of those things that just really, really important. That's why I wanted to decide to start with 502, and it's probably one of the main reasons why they have a start with 502. The next class I'd like to talk about is EdTech 541. In this class, we did a lot of stuff about using technology in the classroom. As here I have a video blog about the advantages of using multimedia in the classroom, along with some references from the video. Also, I went on and created the PowerPoint on what is a network to present to my staff so that they can know what a lot of these simple acronyms are and to help them out when they have tech problems. Some of the other things on the 542 that we had to do was just create a unit. And this was actually really important because they had to go through the software budget for it, find a lot of different links, integrating internet activities, networking activities, all these different things. The nice thing about this, like with the video library here, is it's a lot of YouTube videos about volcanoes and how they're formed, the types of volcanoes. And this is something I'll use in my classroom every year when we learn about volcanoes. And it's nice for me because all these videos are in one spot. I don't have to search for them and then wait for the kids to, find the other ones and things like that. They're all right there for me. Also on here, I list out a lot of iTouch, and iPad apps about volcanoes, and apps for kids that have physical disabilities. A Dragon Speak app, a Speak It app, another one for kids that have sensory difficulties. Photoshop, all these different things, which is good because I've used it for in my grant writing as just a nice little link. Like, oh yeah, there was this app for this app for that, and to be able to show visually what the apps can do for the grants. This class here, like I said, I do use yearly. There's a lot of other things on here that I did that pertain to the class EdTech 541 itself, but I don't necessarily use in my classroom as much. But again, here's just some more sites to talk about the different things on the geology of the Earth that I'm able to show my kids that, and they really do like it. EdTech 597, also titled Social Networking and Education, was a class I was able to utilize in the classroom as I was taking this class. This page here, we're at Centennial. We have a professional learning community, or PLC here, and we actually had to compare our PLC at the school to a different one. I chose to use Edutopia, and this just shows the differences between ours and theirs and what we did for that. For this class, the main project, I was actually a facilitator of a book study we were doing, and I used Google Groups to facilitate the discussions instead of using emails. And this right here is just a screenshot of the Google group that we used for our staff discussions, and you can see here the different threads we started with that. And as I come up here, I actually had a final project showcase, and the book we used was Classroom Instruction That Works with English Language Learners. And for one of the final projects we had to do was create a non-linguistic representation and to show that we understand what that is for these students. And I actually have some projects here that my class or my staff did from this class and using Google Groups. These are all documents that the staff use in Google. This is just one of the presentations they created, asking if we know what it is, and just going through here. And granted, these do have some linguistics on there, but a lot of us would know what these signs mean even without the words on there. Another project here. I believe this one is from second grade, and they're talking about camouflage, and they're not using any words to describe what camouflage is. And the students actually need to find, the different animals. We got a frog, some fish, and you can barely see the moth, and so on, which shows the non-linguistics of camouflage on there. This class actually did help my professional work only because it showed a lot of the people on my staff about Google Groups. It's something that we've been able to use more and more, and which actually made this class very meaningful. Not only that I was learning to use the social networking in class, but also to be able to utilize that in my classroom and at my school. Alright, we're back at the start page here, and the last class I'd like to talk about was my EdTech 506, the graphic design page. And this is I just created a simple website to showcase my work. And this is a simple collage, the first thing that we were asked to make, just to, say what's important to us in football, the Pac-12, my school that I'm at, Mac that I use, where I've gone to college, and then my house. And on this site, I just have a bunch of different links to my designs that I created. The first one here, Universal Design Image. Just, a quick little thing to basically show what I did in 597 with a non-linguistic representation, but I do have some linguistics on there. And then going through here, we had to do some design challenges and just had a little bit of fun with it. And this one right here is just kind of a fun joke I always had growing up about slow children playing, how, it's making fun of the, slow children and they're playing. But how they should change it to slow down, children are playing. Then just had, a couple more other examples of design challenges with, one-way streets going one way or another. This one here actually used for my football team that I currently play on, how this is our old logo, and shows the inspiration that I wanted from the Tennessee Titans to our new logo. And something I use, daily with my football team. And then we had a last design challenge, which again I used in my classroom. We have a camp out that we go on, and this is our old logo that we used to have. And I found this really cool picture of the kids in the canoe, and I decided to outline them and create a logo out of it. And it's something cool. It gets printed on our T-shirts, on our letterhead, and people really enjoy that. So this, has direct impact, and that has great reviews. A couple other little things that we had to make, on here was layers of the earth. Just again using for my science classes I teach, and then how we had to redo it to show different elements. And this class we had to do that a bunch, where we actually got to integrate some different things. This is the rock type, something I do for my students, how igneous equals volcano, the types of rocks, metamorphic, transformers, sedimentary, sediment. And so I created this graphic at first, and then I redid it to make something bigger, easier to read, and just a little more vibrant for the students to be able to look at as we're going over it. last thing we had to do in this class was just create a unit. And so I created the web page, using the skills again that I learned in 502, and just created the web page here with teacher resources for the unit overviews, 3 lesson plans, and just going through. And I got my visuals here. I have my plate boundaries, showing the kids the different types of plate boundaries. I have a or a linguistic way without any visuals using kerning, showing how the boundaries work. Again, the rock types. I have a Richter scale um, graphic here that I overlaid over Idaho just to make it more home for them, so that they could see how earthquakes would be felt. And then a Mount St. Helens before and after photo. A lot of different things along on here. I have, again, I've used them a few times, just different YouTube links that I found and put onto a website for the kids to look at. And it's just, this class here is just one of those that I'm able to really showcase what I've learned in this class, and it really shows how I've grown over the past 2 years, 2.5 years, just from where I started to where I'm at now, and how I'm able to use these in my class. These aren't even all the ones that I've used in my school. There's a lot more that I've created outside of these classes that I've used. And this is just something, I've had other teachers walk through my room and say, "Oh, where'd you get that graphic?" And well, I made it. Do you want it? And they, send it off to them to benefit their students. And this class here, using fireworks, Photoshop, it's just a fun class. It was a lot of fun, and it was probably the most fun class that I had while taking my classes at BSU. So yeah, that's EdTech 506.
So, in conclusion, obviously there's a lot more classes than I took than just those 4, but those are the 4 that really stood out to me, and I hope you can understand why after watching those quick little synopsises of each of the classes. I'd like to take some time to thank all my professors for all the work that they've put in with me, for all that they've put up with me, just questioning things throughout this time here. I'd like to thank all my classmates who have helped me do all the assignments, all the group work, giving me feedback, talking with me on the message boards, things like that. And it's been a fun 2.5 years. I really think that I'm a better educator because of this class. I've definitely had a lot of fun. It's more than just taking classes. I'm using the tools I gained every day, and I hope to continue to use these skills throughout my educational career. And I've noticed that Boise State also has a doctorate program for educational technology now that will be starting in the fall. And that's something I'm definitely going to be looking forward to maybe taking in the future. Want to take some time off though to relax and just get things figured out down here in Nampa, but definitely want to continue my schooling, and Boise State's a fun place to do it at. So again, just want to thank you guys all for your time, and thanks for watching my video and looking over my portfolio.